we are doing some science with trees. I am soon going to be building some tree farms for harvesting wood. The goal of these farms is going to be to get wood to build with. So I want to maximize the wood that I get in the tree farms. I'm experimenting with 4 different types of trees: pine, birch, oak, and walnut. For the pine and the birch, so the first row is pine, second row birch, oak, walnut, and same for all those. For the pine and the birch, I think these single rows are going to be the best for them because they're going to, you can get the most amount of seeds in there when you just line them up in a row. They grow pretty tall and straight, and so I don't think really anything's gonna affect those. Pine and birch, I think it's gonna stay the same. I think the ratio, the way we're gonna calculate this is the ratio between seeds used versus logs gained. I think the ratio is gonna stay the same for pine and birch. I think it's just gonna be a pretty straight ratio between how many seeds you plant versus how many logs you get. For oak and walnut, these are more branchy trees. They, branch out. I think we're gonna get a better ratio with this, this method, where there's more room for them to branch out and grow. But we will see. You can see I've got a little trash pile over here. Okay. All right, so we're going to go forward in time a little bit. Okay, so this is the next day, and we can see a bunch of them have grown up a little bit. We got a bunch of saplings. Next day, more have grown. Next day, kind of chilling. 20? Oh my God, we're gonna have to travel a while. We'll see though. Okay, so we are now in June, and a bunch of the pine and birch have started growing. We've also got a few oak growing. All right, we're gonna keep traveling. We're gonna probably have to go through winter. I didn't expect it to take so long. Oh, we got our first walnut trees coming up. Fantastic. All right, so there's some walnut. I think everything except for the walnut has grown. I probably should have picked another branchy tree that didn't take quite so long to grow. It's fine. Okay, let's take a quick look, see if everything has grown up. All right, I think it has. All right, everything's grown up. I'm gonna switch over to survival to chop these all down. I need to get myself some food first, and then we'll see what we get. You can see that I've got a chest for each row, so we can keep them all separated. Blow it up in a minute, but you can see the spreadsheet I started to kind of calculate everything. So I gotta count up the number of stacks. This has 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you can see I put 14 in for stacks, and then extra is 11 because this is not a full stack. This just made it really easy for me to count. And then it automatically multiplies by the stacks by 16 and then adds in the extra here. So that is what you're seeing there. I just wanted to make sure I showed my work for that. And interestingly enough, there is not as much deviation as I thought there would be. I was debating on whether or not I should do 2 more tests of this, just because my data scientist mind says, we need at least 3 of the experiment to rule out any outliers and stuff. There's just not enough deviation in the 3 things like per log that I feel like I don't feel like doing this an additional 2 more times will result in any new information. But you know what? Yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. I'm just gonna run the experiment 2 more times. I'll let you know what the findings are. All right, I ran it 2 more times for a total of 3 times. So each of these chests is its own version of running it. What I learned is that all of these trees, let me just get to morning real quick. All of these trees were averaging between 16 and 17 logs per seed. So I'm just saying, for ease of speaking, 16 and a half logs per seed used. Now there is one more test that I'd like to run. Let me just get a single seed. For branchy ones like oak and walnut, I'm wondering if doing like any trees near them, like we're doing 4 together here, I'm wondering if any trees near them, a lower amount of logs to be given. So what I'm going to do is in 3 separate areas, I'm going to just kind of randomly place 16 seeds for walnuts that are well spaced out. So that's 16. I'm gonna do this in 2 more places around here. These are kind of close. Let's move some of these and just see if giving them more room allows them to like branch out more at the top, and it does that equal more logs. So just go ahead and do this real quick. I'm not gonna, we've already got plenty of data for the clumped ones. I'm not gonna do any more clumped tests right now. Great. That's the second set, and then we'll do another one over here. Cool. Now let's grow these up. Like that one, you see how like branched out that one is? I don't know how much that's going to contribute to the log production. All of them. Look, they're all grown, all grown. Okay, so maybe these types are just more rare. All right, see how it like extends out? This is what I was worried was getting cut off with the clumping. But maybe it isn't as prevalent as I'm thinking it was. I mean, some of these are branching out a little bit, but there's just one that is like super branched out. I'm gonna get some wooden trunks, chop these down in survival, and then we'll see what we get. Okay, so I did finish chopping down the 3 clusters. Also discovered a mathematical error that I made in my spreadsheet that has since been corrected. So it doesn't change a lot of the findings. The main thing it changes is how many logs you get per seed. That does change by what type of tree you're planting. Pine trees average like 12 logs per seed. Birch is 7 per seed. Oak 9.5 per seed, 9.6-ish, and then walnuts about 12.5 per seed, logs per seed. Okay. The clustering didn't really make a difference except for this one that had that one really big, like that one that definitely like spread out a little bit, a little more logs, but not really that much. So I don't think even the branching ones, it seems like the branching ones are too far and few between to really worry about. Something like this, if you are building a tree farm so that you can have specific woods to build with, I would recommend something like this. And I honestly, oops, I'm gonna build something like this in my world, and I'm actually going to make this, it's gonna have 5 blocks in between it instead of just 4. And the only reason for that is because it's super irritating when you chop down. So if you've got pine here, when you chop down all your pine, some of your pine logs are stuck on top of the leaves of whatever's here. So in my case, it was the birch. And just so you don't have to deal with that, having them spread out like this definitely helps with that. If you are building a tree farm for some purpose, for example, firewood, where you're going to chop down everything in the tree farm at once, something like this works really well. I prefer the 4 square, like the squares to the lines. I do think it makes it a little bit easier to chop down. I don't know. This just works better for me. You can definitely do this too if you're doing just a tree farm for firewood. If you're doing tree farms for gathering wood, if you have, like, say, all of this is pine and you're chopping all of this pine down to use for lumber, great, go for it and do it. You got a whole one like this again for walnut, you're chopping it all down for walnut, for lumber, great, do it. It's just it's just you're gonna have logs falling on top of tree branches. So you're gonna want to harvest all or most of this at once, or harvest part of it, get up high, go on top of the trees, and get the logs that have fallen on top of it. You just want to casually harvest trees as you need them for lumber. I definitely recommend something like this, just for ease of not having things fall on top of the canopy of other things. But yeah, I will see if I can upload the CSV that I have for this video if you want to look through it yourself, not just have it as a picture, but I'll put the picture up here again. It does not seem like it matters for number of logs per seed with these. It's really just quality of life as far as which one you go with. I am very happy that I did this science. I'm definitely bringing this science to my long-term world, and I hope this has helped anybody else who's been, like, trying to figure out how to deal with tree farms. This was insightful. If you guys have any other questions about this or your own findings, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.